Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Depending on where you are tuning in today for another edition with Mamlaka Brokers Network, you are welcome. Welcome, welcome for today plug-in. I am Ambassador Veronique Lawson and coming to you live from our local studio right here in Savannah, Georgia. Yay! Please, can you let me know where are you tuning in from so that we could cheer to you? Hello, 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 beautiful queen. Victoria, all the way from Spain. How are you? It's getting hot here, so I don't know about you. Is it getting already summer there or what? Please let me know where are you tuning in from. Today you are in again for another edition of Mamlaka Brokers Network, and as we say, MBN. Hello, hello, Ambassador George, all the way from Germany. How are you? How are you? How are you? Wie geht es dir? Wie geht es dir? Und deine Familie auch. Okay, so let me continue on this mini-series. You know, we only have 30 minutes, so I need to kind of quickly tell you what I am about to share today is continue on this mini-series applying principle, way to success. And today we're going to start this part, servant to ruler or servant to master. You may ask yourself, but why the servant to ruler or servant to master has to do with applying principle, way to success? I'm glad you asked that one, because you're going to find out whether you are a servant, whether you are a ruler, or whether you are both, and then how you deal with it, right? So I'm going to actually shift a little bit of focus here by bringing up a picture. The picture of the baby that is going to pop on my screen that you see. You see that picture, and then we're going to leave it there for quite some time because the picture is actually illustrating something. The baby with a crown on his head speak to you and me. That's you and me. We all were born with a crown. We all were born royalty. We all were born as king. We all was born as queen. But the only way to be that king, or the only way to be that queen or that ruler or that master that you were born to become or born to be, is be a servant. Yes, servant. So the next picture is going to pop up again, and then it's going to be as an inverted pyramid, not the pyramid with a peak of on the top, because that is why the worldly system wants us to try to achieve. But in the kingdom way, the pyramid has the peak on the bottom. So, and actually in journalism also we call it the inverted pyramid. And on that pyramid that you see on the screen, you see that you have the will, you have love, you have service or sacrifice, you have influence, and you have leadership. Leadership actually is on the top of it. Influence is in the middle. And service is service and sacrifice, and love and will. But it doesn't start first with the leadership. It starts first with the will. If you see the arrow, you have your will, the will of the Father, and then you love the will of the Father. You love in other words, what is the will of the Father? The will of the Father is there's purpose in you. And then you love it, and that love actually now will require you to have self-sacrifice. And as you self-sacrifice yourself, you actually build your influence. You are actually building your potential. You are actually building and expanding your presence. And after you have done that one, you earn the right to be trusted. And therefore, they call it leadership. And so we're going to leave that pyramid out there, and I'm going to give you a quote. If serving is below you, then leadership is beyond you. Let me repeat it for the sake of those who are taking note also. Someone who want to tweak that one on the comment. If serving is below you, then leadership is beyond you. What or who is a servant? Let me define the servant from the dictionary. A person who performs duties for other or personal attendant to someone. As you see again on that pyramid, you see that service and sacrifice, it requires service and sacrifice. So a servant is a person who performs duty for others or a personal attendant to someone. And we know our master teacher, Jesus Christ, he has exemplified servanthood. So a servant is one that serves others, one that performs duty above the person or home of a master or a personal employee. That's definition by Merriam-Webster. A person who is devoted to or guided by something. So you need to be guided by something when you are serving. What is your guidance? What is the thing that you focus on so that when you're serving? A servant is a very common word with a variety of meanings, all implying a greater or lesser degree of inferiority and one's freedom. That is the Bible Encyclopedia. So I'm going to give you some synonyms of servant so that you could relate to it. A servant can be domestic, a flunky person, a retainer, or slavery, or slave. Remember Paul the apostle, the greater apostle, he said that I'd rather be a slave of Jesus. Yeah, I'm just paraphrasing his word. A steward, which is why God has called all of us, we are steward or steward. A follower, which why Christ said that if you want to be like me, follow me. How you follow? You walk on the full step of the person. You look and you gaze upon what the person is doing so that you could replicate. That is following. So a nearer antonym of servant, that means something that is contrary to a servant, is a herman, is a kingpin, is a taskmaster, and is a leader. So here we see you have, in one hand, you have servant or servanthood. And in other hand, you have master or ruler or taskmaster or leader. But in other words, to become the leader, you have first to go through this one, just as the pyramid is showing you there. You have a will. I was talking about the will, which is the will of the Father in you, which is his purpose. And then you need to love that purpose. That's your choice. You need to choose to do the purpose of God. And then because you choose to do that purpose, that will require you and me sacrifice and service. Actually, another word of service is ministry. People always say, I'm called to this ministry, I'm called to that ministry, and they don't even serve. And because they don't know that service equal to ministry, a servant equal to ministry. Jesus, again, our master teacher, demonstrated so beautifully. And I can't emphasize enough on that. A servant is one who is under submission to another. For us, this means submission to the law first, and then submission to one another and to our gift. To be able to be a servant, first you need to be submitted to the law, and you need to be submitted to your own gift. You need also to be submitted to one another. A servant is one who seeks to meet the real needs of other or of person he or she is serving. You don't when you're serving, you are not serving yourself. You are seeking to meet the needs of the people. And again, our master teacher, he actually portrayed it perfectly. So what did our master teacher did here? He perfectly did it. I'm just moving so that you could see me as I'm talking. So willing is one who is willing to give of oneself to minister for another and to do whatever is best for another person. That is called servanthood. Things in life just don't happen. You allow them to happen. Things in life just don't happen. You always allow it to happen. Servanthood therefore requires a mental shift, a change in your attitude. Ambassador George Abraham yesterday was talking about attitude, the beatitude of Jesus Christ in the very first lecture in recording the book of Matthew chapter 5. That was the beatitude to have in the kingdom. So there's your servant who will require you a mental shift. I know in this world we may be doing this, we may be doing that, but in the kingdom, what the kingdom asks us to do is totally different. God is always more interested in why we do something than what we do. I'm going to repeat it again. God is always interested in the why we do something. Why are you doing this? Then what you are doing. Why are you doing it? Why is not always for purpose? Attitude count more than achievement. King Amaziah lost God's favor because he did what was right in the sight of the law. Not with a true heart. See the motivation here. Let me repeat it again. King Amaziah lost God's favor because he did what was right in the sight of the law, yet with the wrong heart. See, the attitude of your heart matters. He has a wrong heart, even though what he was doing was right in the sight of God, but because his heart was wrong, he didn't come for God. Real servants serve God with a mindset of 5 attitudes, and I'm going to try to give maybe 3 of them today, or maybe 2, or maybe of the 5. If I'm not, then I will come back next week with the remainder. So the first key attitude is real servants are self-forgetful. If you are truly a real servant, I'm always going to tell an example to our master teacher, Jesus Christ. He was a true servant. He forgot about himself. So he didn't want the focus to be on him. He didn't want any focus to be on Christ. Him. You know, people today, they have all those titles. They're going to put like three titles before something. You know, I am a reverend, doctor, bishop, apostle, this. Or I am a doctor, or I am this, I'm that. They will put all those titles before their name. But Christ, even though he was the God himself, the creator himself, he resumed himself to be servant and forgetting about his very, very who he was. He focused on others and other needs and not on himself. So the real servant are forgetful. That's the first key. The real servant are self-forgetful. They focus on other and not on themselves. This is true humility. Not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves less is totally different. Not thinking less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves less. Paul said, forget yourself long enough to lend a helping hand. You need to forget yourself long enough so that you could lend a helping hand. This is what it means to lose your life. You know, remember when our master teacher was on the earth, when he was talking to the disciple, one instance he said, if you have to follow me, you must deny yourself. And some people think that was a hard say. They say, wow, that's a hard say, right? But actually, what it meant is that if you really want to be my follower, you need to forget yourself long enough so that you could lend your hand to other people. You have to lose your life so that you could gain it later. Forgetting yourself in other people's services. When we stop focusing on our needs, we become more aware of the needs of others around us. You know, sometimes we kind of, I don't have this one, I don't have that one, I don't have this one, I don't want. Meanwhile, you have a home, you have already everything. But you're trying to fit what you don't always have. And there are people around you, they don't even have that little room that you have. But when you forget about what you actually trying to focus on yourself and look around you, you will see all the needs of the other people. Jesus emptied himself by taking on the form of a servant. Jesus is God, but he emptied himself from his glory. He emptied himself for the God, the creator. He emptied himself of all the attribute, the attitude, the big title that could be given to him, and become a servant. When was the last time you empty yourself for someone else's benefit? You can be a servant if you are full of yourself, period. It's only when we forget about ourselves that we do the things that deserve to be remembered. When you think about Nelson Mandela, what comes in your mind? He forgot about himself. He forgot about his life. And he put himself in jeopardy for the whole South African, not only for the South African, but for the whole African community or African continent. And no one can forget about Nelson Mandela. When I talk about my mentor, Papa Mars, he forgot himself, his family, doing things for the kingdom. Because of him today, I could be teaching about the kingdom. If Dr. Monroe would have just said, okay, I'm just going to just do my own step and thing, I'm not so sure that we'll be talking about the kingdom of God today. But he forgot himself. He became someone that God could use to usher us back into the kingdom mandate, which was lost for 1,600 years prior to him. Wow. Unfortunately, a lot of our service is often self-serving. We serve to get others to like us, or we serve to get others to be admired, to admire us, or we serve to achieve our own goal. That is not serving at all. Let me tell you, beloved. If you are serving somebody to be admired by people, or if you are serving somebody to achieve your own goal, that is a false form of leadership or a false form of servanthood. When you serve someone, just remember, whether it's in the dark or whether it's in the light, God sees you and he is the rewarder. So all the time, we are really thinking about ourselves and how noble and wonderful we are. Some people try to use service, now that's why I'm saying ministry, as a bargaining tool with God. Because they thought, okay, I am a minister, so I'm going to be begging with God. Don't bargain. Don't use your service to bargain with God. Remember, I gave you an example with that king. King Amaziah said that it's recorded in the word that he did what was right in the sight of God. Not even in the sight of men, of God. But the motive of his heart was wrong. So if you're doing something with the wrong motive, you will not achieve much before God. Let me put it in another word like that. I will do this for you, God, if you do something for me. That's bargaining with God. Some of us, we want to say, okay, I'm going to go on the mission field. I'm going to do this one. If God do that one, you don't bargain with God. Wait a minute. Real servants don't try to use God for their purpose. Rather, they let God use them for his own purpose. The quality of forgetfully, like faithfulness, is extremely rare. Out of all the people the Apostle Paul knew, can you imagine? Timothy was the only example he could point out. Timothy was the only example Apostle Paul could point out. Out of all the people, and let me say that out of all his disciples, or out of all the people, we know Paul as a church planter. We know Paul as somebody who wrote the threefold of the New Testament. We knew Apostle Paul with all of that, but out of all those encounters with all those people, he can only point out Timothy. Can you imagine? Are you such as Timothy? Thinking like a servant is difficult. because it's challenged the basis problem of many of us who are very selfish, thinking only about self. Me, my house, and me, myself, and my house. Me, myself, and my house. Me, myself, and I. Now it's I, myself, and me. I, me, and myself. I, me, and myself all the time. That is why humility for such people is a daily struggle. They try to put faces. They try to, they just do like a Greek, the hypocrite. You know, those who put mask, okay, let me put the mask now here. Let me try to serve here because, you know, actually I want to get ahead of that person. So I'm going to play the game here. You could play your game with people, but God sees the heart. You know, oftentimes in the congregation or in the community, people often say, oh, I've been in this church for 20 years. How come that this woman or this man, he just came and then he's already taking the microphone? You've been in the church for 20 years, but you were serving with wrong motive. Or you've been in the church for 20 years, but you never serve. Or you've been in that community for 50 years, but you never show up or doing things that was supposed to be doing, or you're doing it with a wrong motive. And so there are people who will come after you, they will just quickly take up. But also some other people also come after you, they also quickly take up, but because they're serving with wrong motive too. And don't mind them. Because there is one who sees. He who sees in the secret. Whether you are serving with a wrong motive or whether you are serving with a right motive, he will reward you. So sometimes it may take you for 10 years to get to the point where God is going to expose you. But your servanthood was right. Your motivation was right. It may take long, but God is preparing you. You may have people who are going to shortcut because they want to have a fame. They want to have the name from themselves. They want to have this. They want to have that. Don't mind them. God is a rewarder. No man. We don't care about people trying to please you. Remember, if you didn't watch that show on 3-4 weeks ago with Ambassador Michel, I better warn you, go watch it again. Don't fall on the people trap. Don't fall on that. Try to do what God has called you to do and try to be self-forgetful. Self-denial is the core of servanthood. We can measure our servant heart by how we respond when others treat us like a servant. How do you react when you are taken for granted? How do you react when people boss around or treat you as an inferior person? How do you react? I'm going to give you now the key number 2 of servant to ruler and how to be that servant. Real servant think like steward, not owners. As you see again on that inverted pyramid that is stay right there on my screen. Leadership is at the top of it, as I said. Influence is the middle. Service and sacrifice, or sacrifice and service. Real servants are on that category. They serve, they sacrifice themselves, and they know that they are not the owner. Real servant think like steward, not owners. Thank you very much, moderator, for putting that one off. Thank you. They remember God owns it all. The one thing required for such servant is that they be faithful to their master or to their king or to their creator. And to become that real servant, we must settle the issue of money in our lives. Thank you. You could take the slide out. Thank you very much. To become that real servant, we must settle the issue of money in our lives. That is an issue with many believers. Jesus says, no servant can serve 2 masters. You cannot serve both God and money. Not that he didn't say you shouldn't. Because sometimes we read the scripture so wrongly. Jesus never said you should not. He said no one can or cannot. it implies that, but cannot, it is impossible. That means that people are doing it. Money has a great potential to replace God in our lives. More people are sidetracked from serving by materialism than anything else. And we are living in a world full of that around materialism. Many people are willing to serve because of what they could get. That's materialism. So they get sidetracked from serving because they look at what they're going to get. Fame is another one to his materialism. I'm going to serve you because I want to just be close to you so that people could see me that I was be close to you. I'm serving you, but actually I'm not serving you. I'm trying to use your name to be at the head of the ladder. That's materialism in form. There are many things that we may not be aware of that people do in serving, thinking that they are actually serving. You have to watch out. When Jesus is your master, money serves you. But if money is your master, you become its slave. Let me repeat that one. When Jesus Christ is your master, that money will serve you. But if money is your master, you become its slaves. Wealth is certainly not a sin, but failing to use it for God's glory is. Wealth is certainly not a sin, but failing to use it for God's glory is a sin. Real servants are more concerned about ministry. Ministry is service. Let me tell you that again. I'm going to repeat it as long as I'm doing this series, servant to master. Ministry is not the title that they bestow upon you as I am a minister. Oh, do you know that they appoint me minister here? Ministry is service. If somebody appoint you minister, that means, okay, it's time for you to begin to serve. So real servants are more concerned about their ministry, about their service than money. The Bible is clear. God uses money to test our faithfulness as servants. That's why Jesus Christ talks about money than he did about either heaven or hell. People think that Jesus didn't talk about money. Yes, he talked about money many times. Why? Because he knew exactly what could derail us. So he was pointing out, so if you are doing this one, you are no more in this side. He said, if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches? I want that one to sing in our heart. And I will ask you this before I let you go. How you manage your money affects how much God can bless you in life. Let me repeat it one more time. How you manage your money affects how much God can bless you in life. I believe people usually fall into one of two categories, and I'm going to give you them. People either fall in kingdom builder and wealth. You have kingdom builder and you have wealth builder. Those are the two categories. Kingdom builder and wealth builder. There are many people, they're trying to build wealth. They're out there. Their podcast is paid. Everything is you have to pay this one, you have to pay that, you have to pay this, you have to pay that. Or send your money here. We need your offering, we need all this, that. I don't know whether they do that one for the kingdom building. They have their own motivation. Both are gifted and making a business grow, making a deal or a sale and making a profit. I'll leave you with that. Before I let you go, please be the media evangelist. I trust that today, this series, Servant to Ruler, from this part of the series, Servant to Ruler, from applying a principle, way to success, has been a blessing for you as it has been a blessing to me. And don't let anyone out which you know be ignorant or perish because of lack of knowledge. So be the media evangelist, share this broadcast or this podcast or this live cast with many people. You could also follow us on Instagram or YouTube, and then on Facebook, on Rumble, on BitChute, on Twitter, and you could subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the bell of notification so that when we come live, then you will be the first to know that we are live. Thank you for cheering me up. Thank you for all of those who are now watching me and those who are going to watch after we are off air. It has been my privilege to host this, or to be the host of this 30-minute plugin. We're going to be coming back on Thursday. We are another powerful show that you don't want to miss. Kingdom marriage, what is all about and what is required, with Ambassador Stacy and Dene Lemay. They are going to be our guests for this Thursday at 1 p.m. and look forward to see you. And then we try to switch up because they couldn't be available for our Friday, so that we switch up. And so Ambassador Gabriela Mbala will be having her plug-in on Friday instead of Thursday as usual. Okay, so this is a little hour that I needed to put there out. And I thank you very much. And until I see you again, let us wave our royal salute. You know, we are queen and king, just as that baby on the picture. But we must get there. And the other way to get there is servanthood. Thank you. Bye-bye.